Sean, we can't hear you.
Yeah. Can't hear you, Sean. Hey, Sean, I can't hear you, man.
Yeah. Chris, I can hear you. Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you too.
Sorry about that. A little technical things. Can you hear me now, Chris?
Yes, we can hear you now.
We can hear you now.
Okay. All right. So let me start that over. We had a busy week. Cup match at Fair Hill. Big protest from the supporters. Love seeing the away support, putting the pressure on the board. A little bit of a muted financial statement release, showing off big profits from the club, further cementing us as a balance sheet cup winners, like we win every year. A big European away match today in Belgrade. And then we got also tonight a new guest, which is always fun for us to learn about another North American CSC. So we got lots to talk about. And I think since it's so fresh, we'll have to start with the match today, since it's on everyone's mind. But first, of course, got to say hello to my pal, Chris. Chris, how we doing?
Well, doing all right. And yourself?
Doing good. How'd you watch the match today or listen?
I listened. I listened live on the Celtic TV stream. There's not on TV, and I don't know. It sucks, but at the same time, like, I would rather hear our audio commentary anyway. So I'm okay with that.
Sure. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I got to watch it live, kind of. I was working, so took the first half to watch on my lunch break, and then pretty much watched the whole second half as well. So not much getting done work-wise today, as always on Celtic European days. And then we also will have our first-time guest on the show, Stevie from Atlanta, Georgia, a member of the Fulton County Fenians CSC. How you doing, Stevie?
Doing great, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're happy to have
Pleasure.
you. So yeah, we'll dig more into a little bit more on your background and talk a little bit about the CSC you got down there a little bit later on. But we wanted to jump right into the match because I think that's like super fresh on everyone's mind. And me and Stevie were talking a little bit beforehand. I think like decent result. Like if you went into the match, think would be pretty happy with getting a draw. But let me put up first things first. I know it's always like one of my favorite things on Celtic game days is when the lineup comes out hour and 15 minutes before the match. So I'm gonna throw it up on the screen. What'd you guys think when you saw the lineups? Chris.
I mean, that was, to be honest, that's kind of what I expected it to be.
Okay.
I don't fully understand all of the things, but at the same time, it's probably the best 11 to put out there to begin with, and you still have a little bit of quality left on the bench to bring on, second half or whatever. So I mean, nothing really surprised me with it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
How about you, Stevie? What did you think when you saw the lineup card come out?
No surprises. I think it's, if you're going to baptize some of the new guys, yeah, you probably want to do it in a game like this, okay? Because that's really going to force the gelling process against quality opposition. You know what I mean? It really gives us a good baseline. So when you've got a couple of guys in there who have only been here for a few weeks, then put them under pressure, test them out, see what the kind of metal they have inside them. I think this is a good squad and a good time to get these guys that type of exposure. The guys who brought on have got some experience as well, which is always good for a European game. But I think this was a really good test. We scored a goal away from home against an unbeaten side with a quality lineup. So I don't want to sound too much like Brendan, but there's a lot of positives to take away from this.
Yeah.
And I think you look at where we've come from over the past few weeks. Granted, it's been shocking football from a chances perspective, distribution perspective, defensive perspective as well. In some cases, today was a big step forward for us, I think.
Yeah, I would say my one surprise was, and minor surprise, because I feel like we don't have a lot of options, but seeing Yang get the start on the right wing was a little bit of a surprise. But then again, I don't know what else you would have done. I think the hope was that Balikwisha would kind of be able to maybe move over the right wing, because looks like Tunetki has pretty much already got that spot locked down seemingly. and now you see, watching today, Iheanacho is looking like probably your best option up top. And then what happens to Dyson? So we have pretty much 3 left wingers now in Balikwisha, Dyson, and Tunetki. So I think that could be a challenge going forward. So that was my only one surprise. Everything else was pretty much to be expected.
I've had the Yang conversation multiple times in the club, and clearly he's got towards the end of last season he started to come onto a game, and I'm trying to think, is that because he was getting the minutes, and is this, and I think it's probably the same for a number of players right now, where we're seeing inconsistencies. Is, do they need more time? But the problem is, the depth of the bench, and players not really stepping out beyond the rest of the pack. He's going to try new things. He's going to try and find that perfect fit. Mm-hmm. So, I think that you'll see a few players probably come in and out over the next few weeks. And Yang's one of those things, one of those players where I thought to myself, he may get better if he had more time, but it's just not had the opportunity. But we'll see how it goes over the next few weeks.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
But look, so in terms of the match, I feel like the first half was a lot of what we've seen from Celtic recently. But in the beginning, I don't think it was necessarily a bad thing. I think they gained possession right away and not making a lot happen it was a lot of the, McGregor back passing and Carter Vickers of Scales back to Carter Vickers and that horseshoe football that they've been doing for a while now. But it kind of took the steam, I think, out of probably the crowd. But then at the same time, as Celtic kind of got into the match, then I think you needed to be able to create some chances. And again, nothing, until Carter Vickers at the very end of the first half. Pretty much the only good chance that they got in the first half, which is frustrating to watch, boring to watch, and it's not the Celtic that we're used to watching over the years. First half, how did you guys start with you, Chris?
Yeah, you nailed it. It's the same kind of things that we've been seeing for a number of matches now, where it doesn't seem very inventive. It's very sluggish. The passing, it kills it every time that it slows down and has to go backwards every single time. And I was probably more surprised with Rio Hatati and Dyson Maeda in the first half, just because it seemed to be, and again, take into consideration that I only was hearing it, I wasn't actually watching it. It just seemed like we couldn't do that final third, that final ball across, or we would break away, and then we would give the ball away foolishly, Rio, not completing his passes properly or whatever it was. And, I think that's kind of the nature of Brendan's style of football sometimes, is that it is really sluggish. It is really kind of dirty, and it's not as inventive and fast flowing as what we've been used to in the last number of years. Especially given the players that we do have on, in the squad. So, the first half, absolutely no surprise. I think the primary thing for me is just that we still just lack that inventive nature, especially in the first half.
No, agreed. Stevie, how did you see the first half?
Yeah, can't really complain with those comments. So if you listen to Brendan at the start of the match, he's talked about the importance of starting strong, and he mentioned that a couple of times, and I'm not sure if he means what I think that means, because we didn't, you know what I mean? There was a lot of that, 2/3 play, nothing happening in the last third, which is a significant comparison to, you think, about what we were doing at the early stages last year. We were coming out strong, off the ball running, quick passes, penetrating passes as well. The speed of play was very, very different to what it is, what it has been over the past few weeks. So it's clearly frustrating for us all. But I think that on the flip side, in this stage, does that bring us into the game? Does it give us more confidence? Because in the second half, obviously there was a difference in tempo, and I think that helped as we start to put pressure on Red Star. And so I don't know what the solution is here. I think that everybody, all supporters, would like to see us come out like a bullet out of a gun as soon as that whistle blows, but we're just not seeing that, and I think that's frustrating for us all.
No, agreed. And then so done with the first half. Like I said, that little chance from Carter Vickers. I mean, good chance. Should have done better with it. Actually, gotten on goal more. Starting off the second half, he subs Dyson, which he was terrible in the first half, and I'm the biggest Dyson fan out there. And I was still surprised to see it happen. I think it was a good move, though, and it kind of showed right away that it was a good move. So good on Brendan for seeing that. I think he could have done more, and I think he mentioned that in some of his post-match interviews. He felt like he could have done a couple other changes at halftime too, and he chose not to. I tend to think maybe that was Hatate. Like Chris, you said, I think him and Dyson were way off it in that first half, and Hatate didn't get a whole lot better in the second half. But so subs on Iheanacho at halftime for Dyson, and I felt like they came out firing in the second half, and really could have three really great chances right in a row from Negrin on Tierney cutting it back to him, and then two from Iheanacho, bang bang right away. So I'll go to you, Stevie. How did you feel with that sub at the start of the half, and do you think it turned the match around a little bit?
That's a great question. I don't know, because Dyson is clearly not the force he was last season, and I've had conversations about his performance, and I'm actually comparing it to Sinclair's season when he scored a barrel load, and really what we were seeing was an exceptional season for a player who then in the following season came back to his normal level. Yeah. And you see this every few seasons where somebody just comes out and they have a blinder and they're consistent and they're scoring goals. But in the next season, they're kind of back to where they were again. And I'm concerned that that's what we're seeing with Dyson as well. He's actually not any worse. He's just gone back to a normal level. But clearly the team was energised. So it's either something Brendan said or it was that change. But I just want to point out as well that that Benjamin shot that he's probably kicking himself still. The keeper did make a good save, but the ball in from Kieran. Kieran was excellent. That was a hard ball to control. He took it out of the air. He played a great pass back the way into the path of Benjamin, and I think he was just, I couldn't believe it. I don't think he believed his luck. He had space. There was a few people in front there, but and there was a couple of targets he could have selected. I just think he picked the wrong target. But I thought that was excellent play, creative as well. The initial thing is, I'm going to play it low, I'm going to play it hard, I'm going to play it right into the 6-yard box. But he had the vision to pass it back to someone who was, wide open there. So I thought that was really promising.
Mm-hmm. No, agreed. How did you see the start of the first half or second half, Chris?
I was as surprised as you were that, Maeda's coming off for Iheanacho, fair play to him. I mean, he, as soon as he came on, at least it sounded like it was like a breath of fresh air. Like he was able to kind of hold the ball up more, and they were doing things that were, that was moving the ball faster in that second third, to get up to that first third. And I think that having that initial, like, wow, you're going to sub off the fastest man that Celtics had for a long time. I think that's and Stevie said it exactly. It's kind of like Sinclair was that year where, he couldn't put, a foot wrong in any direction, and then all of a sudden he's not doing that, and I hope that's not the case for Daisa Maeda, because I mean, he is a whole lot of fun to watch when he's on his game, but when he's off, man, it's strange, to be honest, just because he has such a high work rate. So to see him subbed at half, yeah, that was a statement somehow. But what that statement is, I don't know. But yeah, it was great, and that pass from KT to Nygren, I think that in the second half we started doing the things that I know that we're capable of, and that the players know that they're capable of. So you get kind of a break in the action to actually settle down and start playing football the way that you know how to play it.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. So then I guess skip ahead to the goal. Again, that was set up by Nygren. Iheanacho found space, like dead center, right in the middle of the box. But that kind of finish, I don't feel like we've had that much from our strikers. So that was like good to see that, you never saw, like Ida was big and would sometimes get into good spots like that, but never seemed like a clinical kind of finisher like that goal from Iheanacho today. Stevie, what was your thoughts on the goal?
So first of all, commanding performance by Nygren. Yeah, I think he showed a lot of authority in midfield, and I'm really excited to see how he develops. Clearly, that run in from the right shows bags of confidence, loads of maturity, great ball in as well. You know what I mean? When he delivered that, and then he was composed and he took the ball. He turned, keeper was coming out. Great keeper, obviously, and then clinical finishing. So that to me is significant because it was a packed box as well, and we know that we're going to see that week in, week out. So being able to surgically, move in the same way that we're seeing Kuhn used to do from the right, yeah, but it was a bit more direct, a bit more of a powerful run, and pick him out when there was two guys on either side of him and see that finish. That's really promising because I think, we obviously struggle when you've got a packed box. So to be able to then stretch some of the defenders out, make that run in, make a clinical pass. Yeah, we know that final ball we've struggled with that from time to time. He says diplomatically, but that shows us that we can pick a guy out, and then the guy's got composure to put the ball past the keeper when he's under a lot of pressure on both sides. So really promising.
Right. I thought it was like Iheanacho again, and like you said, what it's like playing in Scotland, and I do think Red Star played a little bit like in the first half, especially some of the teams that play us in Scotland. But Iheanacho found space like between the two center backs on that one, like just and the perfect spot to get to for Negrin to like get him that and perfect finish. So I mean, that was second half, so I was going in between my office, running up and down the steps. And I have a new dog, and it was her first Celtic big goal that I celebrated, and she didn't know what to do. I think I freaked her out. But even after that, I think Iheanacho created another couple chances here and there too. Like so. And for the lack of chances that we've got over the last few weeks, that was great to see. Yeah, like so. And I think everybody, when we signed him on the last day, were kind of, or not even, it was beyond the last day. Not, underwhelming signing, and more probably because of how late it was and not done in time for be able to use them against to get us into the Champions League. And you could say the same thing about Tenetki too. Like, and so I'm sure we'll get to that more later. And that's kind of the frustration from the support over, having so much money in the bank and not getting the players in early enough to help you get into the Champions League. But going to, so then we're up 1-0 and feeling pretty good. Stevie, what did you think about Red Star's goal? It was ugly.
Yeah, it's they've got a big centre forward, he's a big strong boy. Cameron Carter-Vickers had his hands full. And I think that it was just brute strength. We're always, as I was saying earlier on, sometimes, I know this sounds crazy, but, towards the end of the game, Celtic are playing at their best when we're 1-0 down. So when we're 1-0 up with a few minutes left, and we are, we've put in a good shift, but the other team at home is starting to come back, that's when our blood pressure starts to come up. So anything like a set piece in those cases, when you've got a big commanding forward, and it really brute force it put it over the line for them. So I think we need to do better in preventing that first ball coming in. I think that's hurt us in the past, but it was unfortunate. I was only, I'm working at the same time, so I can't point the finger to anyone to say that we're making mistakes, but it was a difficult period for us. I think going into that second, third, we looked really, really strong, and I thought, well, I think we're the fitter team here. I thought that we were going to build. I thought we were going to get a second goal, to be honest. But then the momentum shifted. Red Star came back, and they probably got the goal they deserved. To be fair, but I'll take it. I'll go away from home. But yeah, disappointing when you had such a good second half. But they're a quality team. 7 games unbeaten, Serbian champions, great history, great following at home. I think that it's unfortunate we didn't walk away with 3 points. But I'll take one away from home.
No, agreed. On that goal, how did you feel about Schmeichel on that play? I thought maybe he should have not gone to chase down the ball. Like he's not a guy who comes out to play crosses very often. And I thought there was a couple in the game where I thought maybe he should have come out for it. But on that one, in terms of, I think he just got caught in no man's land a little bit. And it's not, I mean, not to blame him, because I don't know what he could have done it would just have one more man, on the line to stop that ball getting bundled over. But I don't know.
So Cameron was right there on the guy, yeah, and so you got to make that decision. Do I trust my centre half to take care of this, or do I come out? And it's that decision making process that I think that we've seen a couple of times, that maybe that better understanding of when to come out and when to trust your defence is where we've not made the right decision. So yeah, there's that vulnerability, I think, during, as I said before, during those types of plays, that I think that we struggle from time to time. So, but again, I can't really fault anyone, but I was kind of watching. I've got multiple screens here. So I was pretending to work and watch the game at the same time. It's the one of the downfalls of having a game during your workday. I hope there's no one on from my office. But so it's I can't really complain, because I didn't really watch the playbacks or the slow motion replays on that to say, hey, yeah, we could have done better.
Yeah, I mean, it was just almost a fluke goal, ugly, but what are you going to do? I mean, if you're looking at almost all the comments we're seeing on the screen, I think that's the general theme from. It's a good result, so. Not that there's not much to complain about. I do think performance-wise, again, our midfield outside of Negrin, I think Negrin was good. Our midfield kind of I felt like McGregor was invisible pretty much again. And then, like Chris was saying, Hatate was giving a lot of balls away. And not even ones where he would, you can accept those sometimes when he's trying to make that cutting pass, because nobody really does that on our side. So you can accept when he does make he'll try a long cross field ball and it doesn't work out, but you'll take that. I feel like today's giveaways were just sloppy and unnecessary. So he was frustrating to watch.
Well, I know we said we'd talk about Partick later on, but that was a great pass from Hatate out to the left wing. Okay, so that was that position on a running player was excellent vision that led to the goal. And again, it's one of these players where I really struggle, because I was back home a few weeks ago and I was with my pals again. It was a Kilmarnock away game, and I swear to God, I thought Hatate was playing with wellies on at some point. His distribution was shocking. His control of the ball was poor. His work rate is never diminishes. He's all over the place. He's in defence, and then he's in one side of the park, and then he's forward on the other side of the park as well. But I'm really struggling right now, and I think that when you're talking about early substitutions, I think the new players coming in, these guys are going to have to pull their socks up to keep their place, because we cannot make mistakes at that level, because you're punished instantly. We've seen that season after season. Okay, that's when the quality really starts to come in with the opposition. Okay, simple mistakes anywhere in the park can lead to a goal against us, and that's what we need to stop, the unforced errors at this level.
No, I agree completely. Chris, any other standouts that you saw from us?
Mean, Colby Donovan today was tremendous. For a young man to step up into the right back role and be out there and really play, with Red Star. I was impressed with Colby Donovan today. He round of applause for him. But yeah, no, I would agree wholeheartedly. Like you were saying at Partick and Rio Hattati. Again, when he's on, but when he's slow or sloppy or whatever, man, it's dire. And I don't know why there's that much of a difference between them. When he's on, he's on, and when he's off. It's just it's bewildering after you've watched him for the time that he's been at Celtic, and he's been consistently, a good, solid performer, and he just has a stinker of a day to day, and you're like, man, if he was one step quicker and made, one step better passes or whatever, but then, it's just Jekyll and Hyde, because at Partick the other day he was on fire. So I don't know. I think the overwhelming sentiment is I think it's a good result. I think it fits us, and we learn from it, and we move on to the next one. But, it's just the way we got to look at it is, all right, well, that was a good result, because Europe's never kind to us. We get punished 100 times over, every time we make a mistake in Europe. So let's take it and move on.
I agree. I think Colby Donovan has pretty much solidified himself as in the side going forward. Like taking Raw once AJ is back, I think Colby Donovan will be at the least the backup. I mean, I think he's definitely. I would say Alistair Johnson's still a better player, but I feel I was always fine with Ralston as a backup. I think he's serviceable, not great, but I think Donovan is an upgrade, and it's always good to, I think, upgrade any spots you have on the side. So I'm glad to see him.
Yeah, I certainly think Colby is worth a couple of minutes here, because that boy's got grit. You know what I mean? And so does Alistair as well. But I wouldn't put Colby out of contention for a first team position quite yet. I think let's see what happens over the next few weeks, because I think he's fighting really hard for that position, and he's playing like a veteran in some cases. So let's see how this boy pans out, because that's going to be, again, competition for Alistair when he's fit again.
Amen. I saw a comment on one of the Celtic posts on Instagram that was talking about that Colby Donovan had a KT moment today, where he had that moment of him stepping up, and I was like, that's spot on. That's exactly what happened, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree with Dr. J's comment there. I don't know what you guys think, but I mean, I always get annoyed on social media. Like, I feel like Ralston is kind of a whipping boy, and I just feel like it's misplaced anger, and a lot of times, like, to get that frustrated with a backup right back when, like, you're making a mistake here and there, like, I don't know. So, like, so I'm not a guy who's, like, been beating up on Ralston over the years, but I do think Donovan, after he's probably, what's that, like four matches that he started probably in a row now. I think he's shown something.
I think you know what you're getting with Anthony, and I like that. Going back to Hattati and Rio, Miada and Rio. I think there's other targets that we could be spending our time on to thinking what's going on here. But with Anthony, you know exactly what you're going to get. He's going to put a shift in for you. But when we're thinking about creativity and linking, how he's going to fit into this new setup as well, we'll want to find out.
Yeah. So, and then I guess, Stevie, did you have any other standouts that you saw from Celtic? I think we talked, like, Negrin seemed like we were pretty all of us thought Negron had a pretty solid game. Anybody else you saw standing out?
Oh, I could stick my neck out here. And I haven't seen every podcast that you guys put together over the past few weeks, but how's our defence doing? What's the opinions on that? Are we feeling a bit better about Liam these days? Great goal against Partick from a difficult position, right? But I'm more interested in what's happening on the other end of the pitch as well. So again, I thought it was solid, but I'm just interested to hear what you guys think.
I mean, I think we've been pretty consistent it's that the defense has been solid pretty much all season so far, and in at least 2 or 3 matches, I would have said Scales is probably man of the match. Like just for, he is, like you said, he's solid. Like and good, like winning headers, can almost count on him for that. I mean, he's not the best in distribution sometimes, but like defensively, he's been. I can't complain at all. And I've never really been a big Scales guy over the years, so. And I think it's a position, I've always said it's a position we needed to upgrade, but I don't think you can complain about him much this season. Chris, I agree.
I don't have any complaints on Liam Scales or CCV. CCV's been, the rock of our defensive, stature, I guess is the better word for it. I mean, just because the guy usually plays, 5 times bigger than he is, and I've got no, I've been very defensive, really, of Liam Scales to some people because I do feel like he has been a good, center back for us. And why he catches pelters, I'll never know because I think he gives 100% every match.
Yeah.
So.
I think this could be a huge season for Liam. I really do. If he can maintain that position, obviously we trust him coming back, but I think this is going to be a really important season for him to really make his mark. And again at both ends of the pitch as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens over the next few weeks, and also when we get tested, and I mean really tested. I think that we need a stress test on the defence to find out exactly where we are. I think it's difficult to say at this stage in the season.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree. I mean, for me, so far, and I think there was a couple comments. One, I think our midfield has been pretty weak. And again, it's I don't know if they need to go, but I think they don't need to play as much as they have been. I think we need to see more Bernardo, definitely. And I really don't understand the total lack of playing time he's getting, because I do think, and especially and we've talked about it over the past few weeks with a few of the people we've had on. I think he's kind of made for those European games, Bernardo. Maybe he doesn't fit as well in Scotland, but so I think McGregor needs a break.
Yeah. Bernardo needs minutes. He really does. I think he's one of the guys who builds in confidence, but that's not going to happen sitting on the bench for 60 minutes. So, Negrin to me is stand out, potentially future captain. I think he's got the authority and the drive and the grit to help us. He's kind of well balanced that way. He's good in front of goal. He's good in defence. He'll drive the ball through, make pinpoint passes. Intelligent play at Partick. You know what I mean? Ball coming in, instead of hitting it low and hard into the box, he took it over the defenders for Young coming in at the back post. So that's an intelligent play as well. So, but I was watching a podcast a few weeks ago. I think it was Alan Morrison was on, and Paul said that we need to make some tough decisions here about players who are maybe past their best. And I know it's uncomfortable saying these things, but it's if we need to progress, then we've got an expensive bench. Let's get them on and let's see what they can do once they've got some their feet underneath them and some minutes in the bank.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think in some of those, like you said, those guys who are getting up there, if you wait too long, it can really set a club back. If you just keep those guys in and don't give the young guys the time, and then some of those Bernardos and Engels leave the club, and because they're not getting the minutes that they expect to get, and they're seeing McGregor not really putting in the best performance every week. I mean, in years past, I do think he's been, probably top 2 or 3 every year in terms of what you would say Celtic Player of the Year, if not the Player of the Year. But you've definitely seen a decline, especially I think towards the end of last season, and then so far this season, I think he's gotten off to a very slow start. So
Sean, I don't know if we're going to be talking about the kind of the blow-up and the transfer market. I know you probably talked about that ad nauseum over the past few weeks, but what you're talking about there, performance aside, okay, it goes against our business model. Okay, our business model is about bringing these players in who are using, let's be honest here, using Celtic as a stepping stone for something else, right? But that means to be developed, you need minutes on the park to improve your performances and to upgrade your value, right? But if we've got a glass ceiling here with Jamesy and Cal and others who probably should have gone last season or season before, that goes against that business model. Okay, so there's the loyalty aspect of it. I get it, but the transfer market, how we're performing there, our business model, and then how we're using our players that we bring in, those have to be aligned, and they're clearly not right now. Okay, and that's why you're seeing us, like Paul says, we had 2 weak guys, underperforming guys in midfield today, right?
Yep.
Why is that? And when you put that in the context of the transfer market ins and out, what should we have done maybe a couple of years ago? So it's just maybe a thought for later on in the conversation or a future podcast, but those things have to be aligned.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, I think probably moral of the story, a good result today. You can't complain about a draw away in Europe. It puts us in a good position, to move on, get past the groups or whatever it's called now, the league stage, into the knockout. So, any point you can get away, probably get on the road is probably a good thing. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. But I think we should move on and let's talk about Fulton County Fenians a little bit. What do you think?
Yes.
But first, let me jump into our little subscribe clip that Gavin makes for us every week.
All right, Paul, how are you doing? I love this man. Pure brilliant pal and that. Gonna subscribe now. You shouldn't not.
All right. something new every week. But so we haven't had Stevie on yet this year, and that's me and Chris's goal has been to try and introduce a lot of the clubs. And I know we're Celtic World North America, and it's been exclusively American so far. Not from lack of trying, because I have tried to get a few guys on who didn't want to come on the show just because for various reasons. But and I feel like lately we've had a very Southern United States focus on our show. That might be Chris's. That might be Chris's influence.
It might be. It might be. It might be.
Yeah,
but
I think there's a lot of noise. The guys in the south are really starting to make a lot of noise. The clubs are growing. So I can understand why. There's a lot of activity going on down here. And so I think that these clubs are going to grow and grow, and we're trying to build those relationships between the clubs, start moving around, build and start to participate in events, fundraising as well. So there's a real good vibe happening in the south right now with regards to Celtic Supporters Club. So I'm really, really happy about it.
Yeah, we've kind of talked about that in previous weeks, like to try it, because I do think there is a good vibe. Like we've had Connor from Charleston on, and we've had last week we had Drew from Knoxville on last week. We've had Dr. J from Myrtle Beach. He's a little bit of a transplant down there, but in terms of yourself, how long have you been over in the United States?
I am celebrating my silver anniversary in the United States, so 25 years.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. That's cool.
Started, I've been coming over here to work longer than that. So about 98, I started coming across, and I would kind of commute between Glasgow and Glasgow and the DC area for a couple of years until my boss says, listen, you're just wasting time and money. Why don't you move over there on a permanent basis? And I didn't look back. So that's got married, got kids, living the American dream. But it's I've been in Atlanta so my youngest daughter was born here 19 years, and there has been a couple of attempts to sustain a Celtic club in Atlanta before, and I kind of was in briefly back in when we had the first Atlanta CSC, but that was the time we were having kids, and it was kind of a bit more difficult to participate and be active in the community at that point. So as I got older and my kids got older, I was like, Atlanta is a city that needs a Celtic supporters club, and there was some things going on, but we struggled to kind of formalise it. But we finally got it off the ground, and we're kind of going through that early organic growth right now. But we're getting there. We've got a solid group now. We've got a great mix of people as well. A few transplants from Scotland. We've seen Drew from Knoxville. Chris, I remember seeing you. I'm pretty sure it was O'Sullivan's as well. In the cab. So it's really just trying to sustain that now down in East Atlanta Village to try and get that, move into that growth, sustainable growth. And I think working with other clubs in the south is going to help us with that as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So what, like turnout wise, what do you guys normally get, say for one, I guess, when you have big matches, Rangers, Cup finals, stuff like that?
So you're going to get approximately about 30 people for a big match, which isn't bad. Our spread is all over the Atlanta area. So Atlanta, if you know yourself, there's a sprawl, and I'm way up in the north, but we'll get guys way down south, heading towards Alabama, guys out west, guys coming from the northwest up in Kennesaw. Some guys are traveling a long way, and I know we've had guys from Savannah. Chris, I know you've driven down before. So people will really go out their way just to get in there for that 90 minutes, have a couple of beers with the boys, have a bit of crack. So it's all pretty promising. On the other end, we're selective about our kind of smaller games, particularly those early ones. We're still building a relationship with a landlord. I think she thinks we're insane, but she's getting it. Casey's is great support, and now we're able to increase the number of early games, those 7 o'clock, 7:30 games, even when we're playing when it's not the big games as well. So at that stage, we're getting about 15 people there as well, which isn't too bad.
No, that's great. That's great. And we talked about that, and like I'm in the Philly area, and you only get a handful of guys even in Philly. I don't know how much in New York for games like that. Probably a little more. Like, so that, I mean, that's, I feel like the start of it. Once you can develop that consistent crowd week in and week out that are, like core, even if it is 6 or 7 guys, but you have that 6 or 7 core guys that are going to be there every week. That's the way to build it, and then expand from there.
Yeah.
How many years has this club been up and running?
I think this is a third season.
Third season. Okay.
Third season. And we're starting to formalise things and do a little bit more around charitable contributions. A bunch of us went up to North Carolina last year. I think the next big thing is there's going to be the event in New Orleans next year. So we're trying to get a presence down there. But I really want to try and personally, I want to become more active. It's not always easy because of things like work and travel, but it's about being intentional. This doesn't happen on its own. You've got to work at it. You've got to build that relationship with your landlord. You've got to make that outreach. There's a big event in East Atlanta this weekend, right on the same street of the pub. It's called the East Atlanta Strut. It's a big festival there. So we've got our flyers. We're going to go. We're going to have our kilts on. We'll have the hoops on. We're going to get out there. We're going to mix with the community, and we're going to start that kind of local outreach to try and attract more people who may not have the history or the Celtic that we have. So it's looking really, really promising.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know, like,
awesome.
Thinking about like Sean Kelly in Detroit, he's always doing the outreach stuff, like, because he follows Detroit City FC, and like I think he's on any kind of Irish connection, any kind of football connection. He'll always be like, you're a football fan, come out to our club, and like I promise you'll have a good time. So I think guys like that, and you and Connor and all those guys, Connor and Charleston, there's so many new clubs that are have within the last 5 years that are like killing it, which I like is so awesome to see. Like I always tell those guys, like, I'm so proud of them.
Yeah, and you see the pictures, what's going on in some of these clubs. So just the regulars are there. Orlando is massive as well. That's where I want to be. Atlanta deserves something like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's it's not just about we've set up a charter. We're trying to kind of formalise membership, and we're trying to give the club direction. It started off as just a group of guys getting together, having a few beers, watch the game. But I think we want to really align ourselves with the principles of the club, principles of the foundation, get involved with the community, work with charities near and far. So that's really, I want to embrace the Celtic spirit and really make an impact locally and as part of one of the North American club supports clubs.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
All right. Well, let me you sent me some pictures today. Let me throw some. You guys got a great crest. Love the crest. Do you guys have merch and stuff? Anything?
So we are just about to get our first T-shirts printed.
All right.
I just want to say thanks to Keith Johnson for pulling that together. You've got the Atlanta skyline there, and I love that. It's funny, you've got the phoenix rising from the ashes, which I think Keith selected because obviously Atlanta was burnt to the ground during Sherman's march in the Civil War. But also, I don't think I realised that the ashes, when we think about the ashes of 1916 and the phoenix rising from those ashes as well, is what that's why I love that we've got that phoenix on there as well. So shout out to Keith and to Wee Man, who I know has been on this podcast as well, for kind of pulling the name and the logo together.
Mm-hmm. That's great. And then we got some of your members.
Yep. This is the glorious Atlanta sunshine there.
Yeah. And Peter Grant would like this one, right, Chris?
Peter Grant loves pyro.
Yeah, what you don't see is that guy, the pyro, right behind my head. that's actually dripping on my head at that point. There's holes in that Celtic shirt, massive holes in that Celtic shirt after the pyro did its job on me. So yeah, I think that was last day of the season. Last season, I think, or maybe 2 seasons ago. I can't remember. So yeah, that was a good day.
Yeah, those are good ones.
There's a video I'll have to send you, Stevie, from the O'Sullivans, and it was either a cup final or
Scottish Cup final. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
Well,
It was at O'Sullivan's, and we did the pyro outside, and I don't
I
know
know. I've
who
seen
got
it.
all that.
I seen it. And that's when my kids came out of school. Generally, when my kids came out of school, we'd head straight to Scotland. And so I missed the cup final, and that's why I wasn't there that day. So, but you know, I've seen it. I've seen the video.
So you go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
No, the pub, and I know y'all are at the Elder Tree now, in was it Flat Shoals Road?
Flat Shoals. It's actually called at least it's called the AAV pub, East Atlanta Village Pub. It's been done up now. Yeah.
I got you. It was at the O'Sullivan's where it was a couple years ago when we were watching. They have a big kind of park in the middle of all of these buildings where the pubs and stuff are. And there was this big courtyard, and we filled the entire courtyard full of smoke from all of the pyro that we were letting off in there. But we never got in trouble for it. So
yeah, I'm sure the natives were delighted with that performance.
So like you said, over the summer when Celtic was over here, did you have a group that went out to North Carolina?
Oh yeah. So that got messy. That got pretty messy. But it was a great. I know North Carolina really well. My headquarters is up there. I've got family in North Carolina, so we pulled it all together. And there was guys from my hometown there from Port Glasgow as well had made the journey over. So it was great representation from a lot of the clubs, and we had a great day. And of course, the scoreline was fantastic, and clearly Man City never recovered from that for the rest of the season. That defeat. So I can't wait till they come back.
Oh no. Hopefully they don't wait 12 years or whatever that they waited last time. Well, because I think the last time they were over before it was 2012 when I was in Real Madrid and Philly. So that was too much of a gap to come visit us. But it'll probably be a few years now because looks like we'll be locked into Champions League qualifiers for at least the next few years.
Yeah. It cost the summer short.
Yeah. Dr. J is a big Port Glasgow fan. That's where all his boys are too. So.
All right. So if I was there last week. Had a few pints in Donaghy's in Port Glasgow. I used to work behind the bar in Donaghy's, Dr. J. So if you know Donaghy's, then give me a shout.
All right. Well, let's move on to I love the jumping around out of chronological order, which we've done before, but back to just spent a little time on the Partick Thistle match, and we had talked about it last week, me and Chris, and I think Brendan put out a little bit more of a stronger team, like more first team than I thought they would. Like I thought we would see a little bit more of the young guys, second teamers. There you go, Stevie.
Who is this guy?
That's Dr. J in Myrtle Beach, Buddy.
Yeah, we've had him on a couple times. He's a good buddy of ours.
Right, I'll check it out. I'll maybe do some outreach with the Myrtle Beach boys if we've got some Donaghy's history there.
But so I don't know. In terms of that match, Chris, how did you see that one? You got a chance to watch that one, right?
Yeah, no, I think you kind of nailed it there on the head. Where it was just we were hungrier. He put out a team that I feel like they were hungry to be out there. Sinisalo in the sticks. Like every time he's there, I question Schmeichel because Sinisalo is. I think he's a great goalkeeper. I think he is the future, and we need to be giving him some of those matches. But yeah, no, the match itself, Partick tried there in the first half for a little bit, but we really poured it on, and it was a good performance all the way around.
Yeah, I don't think there was much to go over. I think it was a good kind of confidence builder game. It's against a championship side, so there's not a lot to take out of that. I think, like Stevie, you were saying earlier, I think like we need to have a match where the defense is challenged a little bit, which they really haven't been, and you're not going to get that against Partick Thistle even away. And even today, I think just going back to today a little bit, I don't feel like Red Star really came at us too hard. So I'm curious to see how the defense.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'll take that any day of the week. A European game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I want to finish in that at least that playoff position. But I think we need to learn something about ourselves here, and especially with some new players coming in. So yeah, bring them on.
Yeah, and going back, you were saying before, Stevie, when we were talking about some of the guys who stick around too long and it kind of sets the club back, and you're not getting those young guys playing. I think that is, for me, and I'm like Chris, I love Sinisalo, and I do think he is probably the future for us and would like to see him more often. And I think Schmeichel, he had a great save in the first half, but I don't know. I feel like he's been shaky in some of those, especially big matches, where I just don't trust him as much. So I like Chris, I'd like to see a little bit more of a Sinisalo.
I thought you could no disagreement there. I was really impressed. So I'm hoping that he starts to get some game time and we start to transition. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, Schmeichel's a presence. He's a commander. Not so much as Joe, but I think that we need to start thinking about pulling the trigger earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Doing something different.
Yep.
Doing something different.
Yeah. So, like I said, there was a little bit of a protest at the start in terms of, more sack the board protests from our support, which is good. I think we'll probably get a lot more of that as the season goes on. I don't foresee it stopping, and I don't think it should, because I think no matter how well we play from this point, even if we really start turning it on, we should be in the Champions League, 100%. We should have had those guys in early to solidify the squad and be ready for those qualifiers, and it's inexcusable, like it has been in every year that it's happened before, and so to let it happen again, it just makes it even worse for me. So
yeah, keep our foot on the neck of this situation. No matter what the scores are, no matter how we're playing, I think it's really important that we stay focused, just as focused as we are going to stay united on this as well, because we've outgrown the board and their ambitions, and we need to initiate change in a way that is sustainable, right? It's not just something quick. It's not a quick fix. It needs to be change again, as it was 30 years ago, so that it takes us to the next level. So I completely agree. We need to see these things from grassroots level all the way up to operating within the legal framework that exists for us to invoke change at shareholders level. So everyone has got a part to play, no matter where you are in the world. Okay, I know it's tough for us to talk about boycotts when our our hardest challenge is getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning to see an early morning game. But there are things that we can do. We can lend our support. So we just need to make sure that we keep it together and keep it going until we win this.
Yeah. And honestly, you've probably never seen the Celtic support more like uniform in a belief. I feel like there's always been a kind of a, like we've all like the happy clapper crowd and stuff like that. And I don't feel like there's much of that these days. I think everybody's 99. There's always going to be some dissent, but I think 99% is behind this protest.
To that point, though, Stevie, you were at that fan meeting a couple weeks ago in Glasgow.
Yeah.
Like what was the overall sentiment? Kind of coming out of that meeting.
So it was remarkably controlled, I think, because I wasn't sure what I was walking into, but it was clear from the outset that everyone was facing in the same direction. Obviously, there's some differences of opinion on some key things, particularly around boycotts, and that is. And I learned a lot from this because it is such a personal thing. I was out in Greenock watching the Kelly game after the meeting, and with a group of friends who were through the first boycott 30 years ago. You know what I mean? And they were still at the Celtic Park on a Saturday, talking to fans as they're coming in. So we've been through this before, but it's such an emotive thing. But everyone kept their calm, and it was the quality of the contributions was amazing. The ideas, the points that were being made, but the good thing is that everyone from such a diverse group of fan groups were all pretty much in agreement, because it could have got messy, but it didn't. It was a well thought out. Really intentional approach to invoking change, and I think that's really promising.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that I wish we would have been able to participate more in over here, but I guess it's hard. We do what we can, but yeah. So I guess let's quickly preview Hibs over the weekend. I think it could be a challenging game coming back from Europe. I think we're going to see as strong a team as Brendan can throw out there. I don't know. Chris, how do you see it over the week?
I mean, you flip a coin. It's Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde. So I mean, could we have a European hangover? Absolutely. Could we come out there with a separate 11, or bits and pieces of maybe Colby Donovan and Sinisalo and sticks and some CCV, Liam Scales, I really don't know. I think it'll be a close game regardless. I think Hibs has a good squad. I think they move the ball better, and they're probably a little bit more physical in our face. But ultimately, I think it'll be a 1-0 game, or like a 0-0 draw or something. I think the verdict's out. I'm going to have to see it before I believe anything. I guess that's the best way to put it. Is we could come out flat, or we could be solid again. It's just who knows what exactly we're going to see.
No, I agree. Stevie, how do you see it?
I think we're going to see some changes in the starting lineup, for sure. And obviously, what we want here is a significant increase in chances in both halves. Okay, you know, it was a couple of seasons ago, you know, we struggled to play 90 minutes at the start of the season, but the emphasis was on the first half. You know, today it was the second half. I want to see a complete performance where we're just dominating and creating chances from the get-go. And that slow build-up is not helping us. So strong team, but I think, you know, Hatate, Rescal, Maeda, you know, they're question marks for the starting lineup, I think.
I could see that. I could see like definitely Engels and hopefully Bernardo. I feel like and we've said it earlier tonight. Bernardo just needs minutes. Like I just don't know how you are giving him so. I mean, there's been a bunch of matches where he's gotten no time on the like McCallan's getting in ahead of him most times in the midfield. So like I don't know. That'd be one guy I would love to see start on over the weekend.
I was born in Greenock, so Kevin's a Greenock boy. Big fan. I think he's a fan favourite, so I would love to see him get more time as well.
Yeah. So yeah, I can see definitely changes, especially coming back from away in Europe. I think that would be I think that's kind of Brendan's MO in a lot of cases to do that, make that. So Sinisalo, get him in there.
I'm telling you, man, he's the future. I'm telling you.
All right. Well,
so I just want to go back to the fan meeting as well. That Wednesday evening, and I went to Glasgow, and I was just lucky to be in Glasgow at this exactly the same time. So we had signed the open letter, and they kind of put me forward to attend rather than attending remotely. And I walked in, and the place was packed, absolutely packed. There was barely a spare seat, and everyone was, you know, I recognise a bunch of faces, you know, from the media world, etc., supporters clubs, and everyone's so nice to me. And I said, "Hey, mate, come over here, come sit here. There's a free seat, fantastic." And just everyone was so nice to me, and I thought, my God, what a great group this is. It's fantastic. And it wasn't until I realised that when I got home, it was freezing, miserable night in Glasgow. Seriously, it was just, it was pouring. And I got home, and I just pulled on layers and layers to keep myself warm because my blood is so thin living in the south for so long. And I had a black crew neck sweater on and a white t-shirt. And clearly these guys thought that I was a priest. And that's when I realised that the guys thought I was the clergy, and I was, and that's why I was treated so well. So nobody bought me a drink right enough, but you want to get some loyal treatment at Celtic supporter patch, yeah. So seriously, like a dog collar.
That's awesome.
Well, I think we covered everything we wanted to cover tonight. Some things more than others, but I think we spent a lot of time on the match today, which is kind of what I was thought and hoping for. So, but it was fun. It was fun chatting with you guys. Definitely have to have Stevie on again.
Yeah,
appreciate you guys having us. And, you know, and I hope to get up to Philly soon, Sean and Chris. I hope we can share a pint again at some point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's only a 3.5, 4 hour drive for me to get to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Is that all it is?
There's a spare bed in my basement, mate. If you need to stay for the night, okay?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Stevie.
Look forward to it.
Stevie, you have to get up to the Philly in February. I think we're doing it. So I don't know if you're.
Yeah. In fact, that is one of the things that we're talking about right now. Philly in February sounds delightful, but it's always 85 and sunny. Philly pub.
Your southern skin won't be able to handle the cold. That's Chris's problem all the time.
Well,
I don't even.
Look, sit home. In all fairness, every time I've been up there and it's been like 12 degrees or whatever, I'm like, nah, but I'm still up there, so You take that for what it's worth. I mean, how many times do you have somebody with my accent going up to Boston or Philadelphia in the middle of winter?
Yeah,
But
Cleveland.
But I still do it.
I remember we went to Cleveland. It was snowing in April when we were in Cleveland. So.
Yeah, I was all taking pictures of it because I don't see that much snow.
Yeah,
but
I don't even wear a jacket in that weather. So you guys got to man up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like Stevie knows that, like, you know, those 100-degree days, they last until October, and then you know, the thought of having to put like more than one sweater or jacket on, I mean, it's unfathomable. So, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. So that'd be great if we got to meet up sometime this year, Stevie.
Yeah. No, I think the invite and the podcast could be the catalyst for some representation from Atlanta at the Feely. So let's work on that.
That sounds good. Yeah, so I guess we'll wrap it up there. One thing I want to mention, and on the Celtic World Tactical Review Show, Paul Massey put out a thing just looking for donations. He's doing a walk for his wife had cancer. I think has been 4 years cancer free, I think she said. So he's just doing a little walk for a charity, for a cancer charity in Australia. He's from Western Australia in Perth. So I'm gonna put up the link on social media, and I'll tag in the Celtic World. So if you guys get a chance, just drop a little donation for Paul for his walk coming up. And that's all I wanted to say. So thanks for coming on, Stevie. We'll get you on again soon. And Chris, we'll be talking.
Check you out.
And yeah, hail, boys. We'll talk to you soon.
Hail, guys. Good night. Thank you.